Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host 𝙒𝙖𝙩𝙀. After a hiatus of a few years, Dr. Omendra Ratnu of Nimittekam is joining us again. Omendra ji, Namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel.
Namaskar, Shri Bhai. It's an honor and a pleasure to be with you again. The hiatus of years, I think it was. It was the other day. Just we were talking, and it's not that long ago that we talked about this.
No, we connect every 6 months or so, and we catch up a lot, and that's how we've been. It's never.
I've been following you on social media ardently.
Yes. So we are WhatsApping, of course.
gap.
Yes, we're WhatsApping a lot, of course. Viewers, today I have a very important topic to talk about, and now we are beginning to document, incident by incident, all the atrocities that is happening in Punjab, Sindh, and other rural areas of Pakistan, perhaps even in the urban areas. So we are going to start by showing you all the incidents that happened in the month of March. This is a table. This table has not been published in the mainstream media. PGurus probably is the first one to publish it because Dr. Omiji is right in the forefront of this. He's been running this organization called Nimittekam, which functions from Udaipur and Jaipur. Go back and look at the previous episode that I had done with him. The link is provided in the chat window here. And he's been untiring in his efforts and he needs all of our help. That is the first thing I want to tell you. We'll give you all the details when he starts talking about it. But Omiji, sorry to take so long to come up to the context. First, I want to show you what is going on. Can you have the table, please? Here we go. This is the genocide of Hindus in Pakistan. And we have various ways in which this is happening. First of all, the most significant: abduction, forced conversion, and marriage of girls. I did a specific program last week with 4 girls happening, and now you can see this is a list of 11 girls. They barely are 13, 14, 15, and they get spirited away from their homes, and sometimes unspeakable things get done with these girls before they are married off. Heart-rending. All this is happening while the Indian government and the Pakistani government are watching. Not to say that Pakistani government is doing a great job. They can't rule themselves, but clearly there is a thing called people wanting to do justice. These are their neighbors just look the other way. I don't know when it will be when the Shiite neighbors start seeing their girls disappearing too. Anyway, I'm ranting. Next one is extortion and gunshots injury. Then you have brutal torture. You have brutal torture and murder. And we have so many videos now. I am completely, overwhelmed when I look at all this data. And Omiji has been talking for a long time about the plight of Hindus there. We told you in the previous interview, Ahirs, Bhils, and Kolhis. These are the main communities that you find them there. And let's listen from Omiji now on where things stand. Omiji, last time you had said that about 1,000 people were being given citizenship, which is with some conditions when they arrive in India, whether it is Jaipur or Udaipur, wherever. But is this the problem? Is this the solution, or what else needs to be done?
In terms of solution, if you're asking me, the only solution for Hindus and Sardars of Pakistan is to take them out of that hellhole. That's why me and Jay, my brother who works with me in this, we were vehemently in support of the Citizenship Amendment Act. And even today, we are very grateful to Modi ji and Amit Shah ji for bringing this act. I know of all the people on this globe how difficult it was to draft the act and bring it to the Rajya Sabha and then clear it in the Lok Sabha and make it. And then you see the Shaheen Baghs happening, the global Islamic community rising against this humanitarian issue. 8 city councils of United States passing resolutions without having an iota of an idea whom they are supporting and whom they are leaving to the wolves. So the caution and the hesitation of the Modi government was understandable, yet they got it. So hat off to them. Now, for the last 2 years, the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha have passed the law, but it has not yet been notified. So, in effect, CAA is not yet active. Uh, the CAA activation means straight away 40,000 Hindus and Sardars of Pakistan who are right now in India getting the citizenship. That means we have that much more Hindus and Sardars as sponsors for Pakistani Hindus and Sardars who are trapped in Pakistan. Besides the optical value, besides the economical value of 40,000 Hindus getting citizenship, besides the whole advertisement that the whole world will see that 40,000 Hindus. See, that's the basic thing about CAA. In one stroke, Narendra Modi exposed the Islamic Jihad to the world. That when there is a 98% Islamic community and 2% Hindu community living there, what they are subjugated to, that was the central core. Imagine Canada passing a law in its legislature that since blacks are being persecuted in the United States, we'll grant them citizenships. There would be war between US and Canada.
Right, right.
But here we have a shameless nation about which, when we pass this law that's exactly the same analogy, right? Indian legislature passes a law that Hindus and Sardars and Christians and Jains and Parsis and Jews of Bangladesh, Afghanistan and Pakistan are being persecuted on religious grounds. Hence, the Indian state is going to grant them citizenship. We are not yet understanding the might and the true implication of CAA. It was a game changer. To the credit of the Islamists, they understood it. Hindus didn't understand it. That is why the idiots sitting in the assemblies of Rajasthan and Punjab passed the law against, not a law, but a proposal, a resolution against the CAA. So you are saying that leave these teenage daughters to die. Let them die. Let them be raped by entire villages. We don't care. This is what you are saying. When you are opposing the CAA, you are saying, let these Hindus die. Let them be beheaded. Let their properties be taken. Let their women be disrobed publicly. We don't care. Because we have to cater to some imaginary ummah, to some imaginary Islamic power. Do you think we are going to escape the curse of these young girls, Shri Bhai?
No, we are not. We are not. It's actually absolutely terrible on our part to do nothing about this. And you know, I sense the hurt in you, Omi-bhai, because you are bearing the brunt of this when they come over, manage to come over, that is, and then they tell you all the stories. It is absolutely heartbreaking. And viewers, please, can you like this program? I need to see 10 times more people, 20 times more people watching this program. Omi-bhai is very, very busy. In my 5-minute conversation with him, he was having 20 interruptions. He's got so much work on. He's a doctor, by the way. He's a physician. He's also running Nimittekam. He runs it in multiple cities. He is full. And he has told us why he feels this. It's Sanatani. His Sanatan Dharma blows in his blood. Omi-bhai, sorry to stop you.
No, it's good. You have to break the trance. The spell.
No, I'm seeing how troubled you are when you are saying relating, because you are seeing it firsthand. Others are all watching it through PGurus. When you are there with the person and that person starts
it's very heartbreaking, Shri Bhai, to see a broken adult grown man weeping for his daughter. I'm a father. I'm sure you are a father of a daughter, or you must have a niece or a nephew or anything. I mean, what wouldn't we do for our girl child, boss? What wouldn't we do? We would give our liver if needed, right? If you take my kidneys, if you want to, if my girl needs it. That girl being molested in front of my eyes. I mean, how many deaths are Hindus of Pakistan supposed to die? कितनी बार मरेंगे ये? और क्यों? क्या हुआ है हमारी संवेदनाओं को? कोई धर्माचार्य, कोई मठाधीश, कोई आश्रमों में बैठा पंडा पाकिस्तान के हिंदुओं की बात नहीं करता। इनको एसजीपीसी और सिखों की इस लीडरशिप को इनको शर्म नहीं आती है। ननकाना साहब के मुख्य ग्रंथी मोहन सिंह की बेटी जगजीत कौर को दुनिया के सामने कलमा पढ़कर मुसलमान बना दिया गया। जो सिख 400 साल से नहीं झुके, उनकी बेटियों को इस तरह सार्वजनिक रूप से YouTube पे वो वीडियोस पढ़े। यू कैन सी दोस वीडियोस ऑन YouTube। दैट चाइल्ड इज, you can see that she is forced to read that kalma. And then we have Hindus who are justifying the Shaheen Bags with the absurd logic that, okay, if you are granting citizenship to persecuted minorities of Pakistan, why not grant it to Muslims also? Are you bloody out of your mind? What I really want to, as a surgeon, someday I want to do a scan of the brains of these people and read into this. This is an Islamic society which was created in 1947 when transfer of power happened. I don't call it independence because we are not independent yet. So this was a transfer of power from Gora Sahibs to Brown Sahibs. So they created an Islamic land. Now they are saying, we want to come to India, then at least melt the borders. Let us have our Akhand Bharat. We will deal with it. No. The Qila of Islam has to stand. Pakistan is a citadel of Islam. From here, we will keep shooting you guys. But come on, yaar, a few of persecuted Muslims should go back to Bharat also. I mean, even Goebbels would, having a short circuit in his brain. I came with this adage that 100 times a lie is told, it becomes truth. This is something superior to that. This is the next level of lies. But got to give it to the jihadis and Islamists. They played the game well. They blackmailed the Indian state with a total breakdown of the nation, the total collapse of economy. They threatened that we are going to hit the streets. We are going to create a situation of complete shutdown before Corona intervened, and then Shaheen Bagh fizzled out on its own. And then now from this government, we are getting these assurances that CA is going to become that. On 9 January, we were very hopeful that it will be passed. Now they have postponed it indefinitely. So now we are looking for alternate routes. That's another chapter and another discussion. Maybe after next question, I will be able to answer, because this will be too long a speech from me. That what are our options now for the Hindus and Sardars of Pakistan? What are we planning? What are we trying to do? But as of date, it's very disappointing. The Hindu Samaj has failed us. And one thing about the Hindu leadership, the constant narrative of the right wing is our population is decreasing. Our demography is getting inverted. Demographic inversion हो रहा है. बच्चे पैदा करो. घर वापसी करो. 1 crore Hindus in Pakistan whom you don't have to do ghar wapsi. They are ready to march barefoot to your country if you open the borders today. There are 2 crore Hindus in Bangladesh. All we need to do is to bring CAA, implement it, and increase the number of visas. Right now, the limit of the visas that the Pakistani, the Indian embassy in Pakistan is issuing to these Hindus is 2,000. We need to increase it to 10,000 or 20,000 so that many Hindus can cross over to Bharat, and we can stop this demographic inversion. The simplest, the most effective, the most cost-effective, and the most humanitarian solution to the demographic inversion happening in this subcontinent is importing Hindus of Pakistan and Bangladesh. You tell me, Shri Bhai, is there any other thing that comes to your mind? when we
No,
talk of
not at all.
population.
This
I
is
mean,
the easiest. This is the
this,
easiest. You're
these
saving
are
lives
ready.
here. Yeah.
No, not saving lives. I'm not appealing to the humanitarian aspect. There's a very specific connotation with which I'm saying this. When you go to Hindu leadership symposia and seminars, the constant noise is demographic inversion ho raha hai, demographic inversion ho raha hai. So what are you going to do about it? You're going to ask your youth to produce more children? If I ask my son, he's going to cut his relationship with me. He's going to, Papa, bye-bye. Don't tell me how many children I'm supposed to produce. There's something between me and my spouse. In the civilized world, this is the way the world works. You can't ask your children to produce more children.
Right.
What I'm saying is that the biggest worry of the Hindu leadership is demographic inversion. And the simplest solution is importing these 3 crore Hindus from Bangladesh and Pakistan. Why are they not doing it? That is my limited submission.
So, Omiji, the number of people that keep dying, and some of the other things that are happening, like for example, there is a mechanic who requests politely that this big shot in the city move his car and park somewhere. He gets thrashed, and then he is thrown in jail, and we don't know what happened there because he comes out after a great effort from his parents, and he consumes acid. Now he is fighting for his life in the hospital. I mean, has even the Pakistani people, have they lost even basic decency? And these neighbors doing nothing?
Yeah, for that you have to go back to the whole theology. I'm not interested in going into the theology. That's not my subject. For that, Sanjay Dikshit sir and Neeraj Attri are better people to talk about it. I can give you the social and the whole demographic connotation of jihad. When America vacated Afghanistan, you can look up my timeline on Twitter, you can look up my Facebook. I predicted the biggest sufferers will be Hindus of Pakistan because they are at the lowest end of the pyramid. There is a joke which कि अगर किसी मुसलमान की पाकिस्तान में उसकी पत्नी ने सब्जी में नमक ज्यादा डाल दिया ना तो वो जाके किसी हिंदू की पिटाई कर देगा. That is the level of hatred and indoctrination and discrimination against Hindus. It is a miracle that these Hindus are still remaining Hindus in that horrible environment. So I'm not surprised at all that Hindus are being persecuted. A mechanic is being hidden. See, jihad is a psychosexual disorder. You have to understand it. And these people behave with the dominant male. They persecute their own people. You know, the Baloch is killing Pathans are killing Pashtuns are killing Punjabis are killing Sindhis. It's a mayhem. In this mayhem, the sufferer will always be Hindu and Sardar because according to their theology, these people are subhuman. They are manimals. They are human beings only in the shape. Otherwise, according to their religious thought, they are animals. So, a subjugation, molestation, rape of a Hindu person, Hindu girl is all kosher. It's all done. There is an iota of remorse. There is an iota of guilt in this society when Hindus are persecuted. Now they have stopped giving even lip service that earlier they used to do for Hindus. The only answer to my mind is that the Hindu Samaj, the global Hindu Samaj, has to reach out to these Hindus and take them out of this hellhole. You cannot do anything about this whole Af-Pak region. This is a melting pot, to say, and the world is going to suffer. But my concern is only for my Hindu brothers and sisters trapped there. And the sooner we take them out of there, that hellhole, the better it will be. There's no other option. If we do not do that in the next 10 years, these Hindus will either be killed or converted forcefully, or they will be evicted. They will have to be migrating to unknown destinations.
So let's take a contrarian view a little bit. Say this thing breaks up into 4 parts. Let's say India has a role, but he makes it manages to break it up into 4 parts. The army is confined to say what would be the real Pakistan, remaining Pakistan, which is essentially the Punjab province. Do you think things will improve?
Oh, certainly. I mean, that is a very, very, it's like a dream come true. But such improbable. You see, that one thing है ना कि वो अगर मैं नहीं खेलूंगा तो फिर दूसरे को भी नहीं खेलने दूंगा. So if you actually do this, then they have the nukes and all. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a person of geopolitics.
Omiji, their nukes are greatly exaggerated, Omiji. I'll tell you why. See, their nukes are greatly exaggerated. किसी का copy हुआ design है ये. I'm telling you this truth here. Because Joe Biden in 2012, he was fighting it out with the vice presidential candidate of Republican Party. So वहाँ पर the first topic they discussed was that Pakistan is a nuclear state. This guy was a vice president then. He blurted out the truth. He said, listen, the nuclear technology that Pakistan has, the material and the detonator are separate. And US knows where the detonators are. We have complete control over the detonators. इसके ये कैप के बिना ये फिज नहीं बनती. Okay, so
I hope what you're saying is true, but I'm not totally focused about the nuclear angle. I'll give you a broader, a more rustic wisdom kind of a thing, which I will share with you. Beware of a man who has nothing to lose. So these 10 crore zombies of Punjab, if you take away Sindh, if you break away Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and whatever that happens and that civil war and all that, again, unless we take these Hindus out, they are going to be butchered. So anything that we do or we witness as Hindus outside of Pakistan, we have to be very mindful of what our brothers and sisters trapped in this hellhole are going to endure. So it's all good to talk about this breaking up and all that. I am not a very big fan of all this. My thing is very simple, Shri Bhai. Hindus of the globe cannot forsake the Hindus of Pakistan and Bangladesh. These people are innocent victims of the treachery of Nehru and Gandhi, who promised them that you will be looked after. I mean, there is a Nehru-Liaquat Pact of 1950, which guarantees the safety, which guarantees the return of Hindus to Bharatvarsha. With what face the leftists and the Shaheen Baghs are opposing the CAA? The Hindus of Pakistan and the Hindus of Bangladesh have a birthright to come to Bharat. हम इन पे कोई उपकार नहीं कर रहे हैं. ये वैदिक भूमि इन हिंदुओं की है. ये इसको there is a legal sanctity to this in the Nehru Liaquat Pact, and 1955 Citizenship Act. The biggest absurdity around CAA is it was never a brainchild of the BJP. It was a mere amendment in the brainchild of the Congress. 1955 Citizenship Act. That is why CAA does not address Hindus of Bhutan. CAA does not address Hindus of Sri Lanka. CAA does not address Hindus of Nepal or Burma for that matter. CAA was an amendment in the 1955 Citizenship Act which recognizes Hindus and Sardars and Christians and all the minorities of Pakistan as citizens of Bharatvarsha. And they had the freedom to migrate to Bharat at their own sweet free will. How on earth can a state deny its own legal obligation to its own people? That is my thing. Instead of fantastic solutions, this is a matter of nyaya. This is a matter of simple justice. How on earth the Hindus and Sardars, इनको डूब के मर जाना चाहिए, who opposed the Citizenship Amendment Act. इनको लज्जा से डूब के मर जाना चाहिए. That you left these weak, tormented, unfortunate Hindus. Imagine yourself being born as a Hindu in Pakistan, Shri Bhai. I mean, you are at a disadvantage by your bloody birth. Just because you were born a Hindu in Pakistan, you are at a disadvantage. Although all my hatred of Urdu apart, but there are some truths which have been uttered in Urdu. दोनों जहान अपनी मोहब्बत में हार कर वो जा रहा है कोई शब गम गुजार कर. Whenever people ask me why do I am so passionate about Pakistani Hindus, and I say, for me it's about justice. For me it's about one fair chance at life. These people are denied one chance at life. Why should a Hindu of Pakistan and a Sardar of Pakistan live like a slave in 21st century? Shame on all of us. And then we have the cheeks to resist a compassionate and a humanitarian law like CAA and gnaw at the meat of Modi ji and Amit Shah. We're just eating their bones. कि खा जाओ इस आदमी को, ये CAA कैसे लेकर आ गया?
So somebody has just said that it was not properly communicated. Mandar, it was not that it was not properly communicated. You see, the thing is, like Omiji said, the Muslims understood it very well. If you remember, there were many there were many panels where they were already talking about NRC. They were one step ahead, and they're saying, "Oh, we cannot have NRC in India." What the heck are they talking about? Today, Omiji Makerao, I saw a video of my locality in Hyderabad called Mushirabad. Okay, and the Muslim guy, and I'll have a separate episode on this. This guy is challenging the police, saying, "This is the month of Ramzan. You have no business being in my locality." And these guys were a paltry minority. Now suddenly they seem to have got numbers. Where from did all these numbers come from? Rohingyas, Bangladeshis? What the heck is going on? I mean, this is KCR is also disgusting. You know, just staying in power, bringing your son, your daughter. I mean, what? You can't govern, dude. Anyway, I'm running on a different time.
1400 years of incessant conflict has not taught us anything. I mean, 1400 is a pretty long time, boss. We must have some civilizational teachings. Our teachers, our gurus, our Brahmins, our priests, they must have taught us something. Or all these 70 years have washed up the civilizational thing which is into our bones. I don't buy that. I think UP results are a very big boost for my morale. Our rants, our actual work on YouTube and the social media is giving dividends. Hindus are awakening at an unprecedented pace. We have to keep at it. My own thing about Nimittekam, I didn't have the money to run Nimittekam on my. I'm not a very big doctor. I'm a reasonably good doctor. I mean, I'm a surgeon. I have my own hospital. I could never have funded Nimittekam with my money, but Hindus gave me money, and that is not a small thing, Shri Bhai. We were able to run offices in Jodhpur, Jaipur, and Jaisalmer, all three critical centers for citizenship. And so I'm very hopeful that things are changing and Hindus are awakening. We just have to keep at it. But I don't buy this that CAA was miscommunicated. Those who wanted to understand it, understood it. Those who didn't want to understand it, didn't understand it. You have to do some Purva Paksha. You have to do some intelligent, critical analysis to understand what CAA is all about. There are countless videos of me and Jay explaining the CAA to the whole world. I mean, if anybody would go and look it up, I posted up. I'm not saying I'm a big social media celebrity, but like still things were out there in the open. Yes, there was a bit of an ignorance on the part of the BJP spokespersons to articulate it, but that doesn't give. I mean, you yourself have educated yourself. I remember last year when we talked about this, you hardly knew about this, and now the data, everything is on your tips. Yes, so it's all about your own commitment to the cause and understanding the threat and then doing something about it. You just need to educate yourself. Everything is available at the twitching of a thumb.
Right. So let's take a look at what Nimittekam does. From my understanding, Omiji, and correct me if I'm wrong. See, what happens, friends, is once somebody comes across from Pakistan, they have to find out what skill set they have. Is there a need for that skill set? how do you keep them alive here? Because giving citizenship means that you're allowing them to stay alive. But then they need food, they need clothing, they need an occupation to keep themselves busy. And that's where Nimittekam steps in. They have done a lot of work in trying to rehabilitate them, to find out where their skill sets are, how to match it with a demand skill set. So, Omi bhai, maybe a couple of minutes you can take on, your work done on this particular aspect.
I'll have to correct you at two places. Number one, our work begins not when the Hindu lands in Bharatvarsha. Our work begins when a Hindu or Sardar in Pakistan decides that he has to go to Bharatvarsha.
Oh, I'm glad to be corrected, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, because that is, you see, most of 90% of Hindus of these 1 crore, that means 9 million Hindus, they don't even have the money to arrange a passport for themselves. So we have to send money to arrange. I mean, through in India, as Indians, we can't send the money, but we have to arrange the money for the passport. Then we have to arrange for the trips he has to make from interior Sindh to Karachi to Islamabad, which is a 1,000-kilometer away journey, and 3 or 4 such journeys. Then need to pay to the touts sitting outside the Indian embassy. Then the fees of Indian visa. Then the travel expense from Pakistan to Bharatvarsha. So the approximate cost of extracting one Hindu out of Pakistan is approximately 6 to 7,000 Indian national rupees. That is the scale of money we are looking at. So if 1 crore Hindus have to be taken out, we need 6 to 7,000 crores. Now, once we get the paperwork done and that Hindu manages to land in Bharatvarsha, then we are not, I'm not an NGO type NGO where we give kambal and khana and fruits. That's not my thing. My thing is, as I said, and I'm repeating it, one dignified chance at a decent life. So our focus is to get the person a citizenship. And for that, first we have to get a long-term visa. So they, earlier, before BJP came in power in 2014, it was impossible for us to work with Pakistani Hindus because we were working with Pakistani citizens. Dr. Omendra Ratnu would be behind bars any day. It was only when BJP picked it up in 2014, and especially Narendra Modi ji picked this issue and put it in the election manifesto, that it was mainstreamed and people like me became safe. Because now we were dealing something which a mainstream political party was saying. And when BJP came in government, my pranams, my unending pranams to Rajnath ji. He gave us so much relief on this issue. He gave the driving license to Pakistani Hindus. He gave bank account facilities. He even allowed private properties. He removed the condition of a Pakistani Hindu refugee restricted to the district of his migration. He allowed the movement across the whole state, which was a big game changer, because a person coming who was earlier restricted to Jodhpur, he can now come to Jaipur for his job. Or he can go to Jaisalmer. I mean, not Jaisalmer because it's a border district, but he could go to Sikar or wherever. Rajnath Singh ji even allowed us Aadhaar card on the basis of Pakistani passport. So that then they allowed the three district collectors of Rajasthan, Jaipur, Jodhpur, and Jaisalmer to grant citizenship, which was the real game changer, because to take these files to the MHA in Delhi, seek appointments with them, was a harrowing exercise even for us. Forget these Hindus. So we started getting these citizenships, and I can tell you that 3,500 citizenships have been done by Nimittekam up till now in Rajasthan alone. We have taken out 10,000 Hindus out of Pakistan in the past 5 years. And our plan is to take out as many as we can in the coming years. Rehabilitating them is not a per se competence for Nimittekam, because such huge numbers cannot be rehabilitated without the state support. And the state support to these Hindus is zero support. So again, we have to look at the Hindu community. If some Danveer, if some entrepreneur, some businessman can set up industries for them and adopt them. Right now, the economic integration of these Hindus are happening within their communities. I'd like to correct you also there that the main community is not Ahirs, the main community is Bhils. They are scheduled tribes. And uh, when a Bhil comes to us, we send them to the Bhil community already residing here. When a Meghwal community, which are a scheduled caste community, they're coming from southern Punjab, the district of Rahim Yar Khan, where 1 million Hindus are still living in abject suffering. And we send them to Meghwal. A Koli comes, we send them to Koli. A Brahmin comes, we send them to Brahmins. So the ecosystem of the caste, we are using it to the hilt to rehabilitate these Hindus. Nimittekam does not have the bandwidth to provide them with jobs and their trainings. We just refer them to the centers and refer to the people who are taking care of them. Till date, we have had a very reasonable success in this. If these lakhs of Hindus come from Pakistan in the next 10 years, then we will be needing government support to set up industries and set up colonies for them to stay, for which Nimittekam neither has the funds nor the capacity to do right now. Right now, our focus is to internationalize the issue, to raise funds on the issue, and when we come in touch with a Hindu of Pakistan, every Hindu in Bharatvarsha, not only in Rajasthan alone. Right now, we are fighting for 300 Sardars in Faridabad, in Haryana. We have the files. We are fighting it out for their citizenship. Our focus is to grant them citizenship so that they become honorable, respectable citizens of their motherland. There is also a future plan, which maybe I can answer in the next question.
Absolutely. Now, the most important thing for the government, the Narendra Modi government, is to make sure that the 34,000 people, they all get their citizenship today. That statement has to go out there. That statement has to go out there. It is very, very important. And no matter how much we can say, oh well, they're too bad, it's not there. Why should it be Dr. Omendra Ratnu's responsibility to rehabilitate the Hindus stuck in Pakistan? It is because that is what the Sanatana Dharma tells you. It comes from within. And viewers, please think. We are going to give you the information about nimittekam.org in the description so that you can contribute to them, whether you are in India or abroad. I mean, he does this thing day in and day out. Omiji thinks of nothing else. I don't even ask him what his family does, how many kids he has. We all worry about this. We have become so, consumed by it. And I wonder sometimes, I keep, saying this again and again. What is the actual, movement on the ground? You can make this thing happen. I mean, Omiji will tell you, I've read it in WhatsApp groups, where those people who are taking the money and going to the consulate, they get waylaid. They get beaten up because they know that this guy is going to leave. And they feel that they're easy meat. It is just becoming just too unwithstandable, unsustainable. But in the interim, Omiji, is there any way that the remaining Hindus stuck in Pakistan can defend themselves? Like, for example, they can stay in an enclave. Is that something that they have tried to do? Strength in numbers?
No. When you live in a jihadi society, these are not your options. They are miles ahead of us in conniving and the evil nature of these societies. The only thing that Hindus of the world can do is to focus on taking them out of that hellhole. There is nothing you can do to empower these Hindus. Because firstly, they are scattered. Sindh is a huge land. And most of them are bonded laborers. They have zero economic strength. Their women are constantly, sexually exploited by the landwaderas and jagirdars. You just now shared a list of the murders and the abductions.
Yes.
I mean, that beautiful child, 𝙒𝙦𝘅, she was shot in the head. I mean, which kind of a particular set of barbarian would shoot an 18-year-old girl in the head for refusing to have sex with him or refuse to be abducted forcefully and fight for her freedom? These men, so-called men, they shot that child in the head. So we are not looking at normal people here. These are deranged, mentally deranged, violent people who have been indoctrinated to believe that Hindus are the cause of their trouble, and there's nothing you can do to support these Hindus in Pakistan except to take them out. And that is where Nimittekam is trying very hard to create alternate routes. Why only Bharatvarsha? Why shouldn't we take this matter with United Nations? We should take this matter with the senators of the United States. We should expose this whole thing to the whole world, to fellow Hindus globally sitting and chewing lollipops and watching pop movies while munching popcorn. I call them popcorn Hindus. You go and shake the consciousness of the 100 crore Hindu community, that how can you forsake these Hindus? And there are countries like Canada, there are countries like Australia and New Zealand and the United States who have very specific refugee programs, but we are nowhere on the scene. The Hindu Samaj is nowhere on the scene. We want everything to be done by the government. 5 साल में एक बार जाके मोदी जी को वोट दे दिया, बस ये एहसान कर दिया हमने. Now everything is going to be taken by him. We will indulge in our theme parties, in our cricket sattas, in our Bollywood movies, and in our foreign vacations. Modi है ना, Modi संभाल लेगा. That's not the way it works. Samaj has to do the responsibility of the Samaj, has to be taken by the Samaj itself. And I think, again, at the cost of angering a lot of fellow Hindus who are even our donors and our friends and sympathizers, I cannot forgive the Dharmacharyas and the Mathadishas of this country for the sin of keeping quiet on the genocide of Hindus of Pakistan. What prevents them from speaking the truth? What prevents them from giving a platform to 5 or 6 or 7 of Pakistani Hindus and Sardars from standing on the podium and speaking what they suffer in Pakistan? How else are we supposed to educate the Hindu society? What is the point of your Bhagavad Kathas and your Ramcharitmanas and your Bhagavad Gita if you're not able to save these people who are victims of time? What happened to our compassion? Shri Krishna has said Karuna. If there is no Karuna, then there is no Dharma. Forget Dharma. Bhishma was on Dharma, right? Drona was on Dharma when he said, "I'm loyal to the throne of Hastinapur." That's a purely dharmic thing to say. There is nothing adharmic. But was there compassion? What you could witness a woman, a lady being disrobed for your fidelity to the throne of Hastinapur? Then you deserve to die. That's what Krishna said in his message. That jis धर्म के वृक्ष में करुणा का पानी न गिरा हो, वो धर्म का वृक्ष आज नहीं तो कल सूखेगा. This dry lump of wood is of no use if there is no compassion. And compassion is the very premise of dharma. And that is what we need to awaken in the Hindu community. So then we can start taking them to. Recently there is this guy Manoj from South. He came to me and he gave me a very brilliant idea of even shifting these Hindus to some of these Hindus into Guyana and Suriname, which are partly Hindu countries, which have Hindu officials, and they'll be very happy to take these Hindus. So there are a lot of challenges. There are a lot of new doors opening for us. We are exploring them, but needs massive funding. For example, when I talked about talking to the senators, to lobbying for Pakistani Hindus, every American Hindu told me that you need millions of rupees, Omiji, and I mean, Nimittekam just doesn't have those funds. And we don't even know, I mean, if there is a tangible result to that, all that lobbying, it could be wasted money. So we are fighting this battle with bare hands and raw guts, nothing in our hands, nothing in front of the very well-oiled, well-funded killer machine of jihad. But then there is the X factor of Krishna Vasudeva. He's with us. So wherever yatra Yogeshwara Krishna tatra parthor dhanurdhara. So maybe the victory will come to us after sacrificing ourselves at the altar of this yuddha But then it is a salvation, because we will not surrender. Our ancestors did not surrender. As I will point out in my coming book, you will read it and you will understand that our ancestors were such glorious people. So what prevents us from fighting it out today in the 21st century when we are so equipped? We will fight it out. We will take these Hindus out of Pakistan.
Absolutely, Omiji, and I might as well tell you that many congressional senators actually watch PGurus, because we usually sort of हट के दिखाते हैं सब चीज. We are not doing the mainstream line. हम ना लेफ्ट हैं ना राइट हैं. कहीं कुछ गलती हो जाती है तो वो भी बताते हैं हम. कहीं कुछ अच्छी हो जाए, अच्छी चीज होती है वो भी बताते हैं हम. So the point here is the truth. So please, viewers, one simple request from me: think that you have gone to a temple. Whatever dakshina you will put there, do it to 𝙤𝙧𝙤𝙪.org. We have just put you the things streamed in the streamer here. So it's very simple to remember, 𝙤𝙧𝙤𝙪.org, and it will also be in the description. Please consider donating to Omiji and help him. We can't physically go there, but at least we can help him with our thoughts, our well wishes, and of course with our rupees and dollars. Thank you very much, Omiji. I don't think we have any questions. There are just some comments. And let's again promise to meet again in maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks time, because fast-moving developments in Pakistan. I don't know if it is going to make a difference. Let's hope. So
no, for Hindus, it's not going to make any difference. As I said, more the instability in that country, the more suffering for Hindus and Sardars of Pakistan.
Right. Thank you so much, Omi Bhai. All the best.
Thank you for the patient hearing, Shivi Bhai. Thank you so much. Jai Shri Ram.